So, I killed Mergval and we all went home. Is that the official version these days? You ought to see what came next.
Alright, what's up? This is Nak3d Eli, the mostly unclothed gamer, bringing you missions F1 through F5, a gold star guide to help you get the gold star relatively easily on these missions. We see that Spartan Palmer is back in action. She has killed Mergval at the end of Operation E, and now there's something else, some big epic adventure that we need to go on. So I want to say first off that these missions are actually pretty darn difficult just to beat, let alone to get the gold star. So these guides should be really helpful for those of you who are struggling. This mission in particular, we had a lot of ways that we could have approached the beginning section, and you essentially want to funnel all of the Covenant into one choke point, or at least one major battle area, and then just chain the kills one off of each other. Or one off of another, whatever that English phrase is. So we have here the grunts getting back onto the turret, so we can use our grenades to blow that up, and then you're going to continue to kill the elites and try to alternate between elites, grunts, unless you can kill elites in a row quickly. That'll help you keep your spree up, and if you do it perfectly, you should be able to get over 100,000 before this farming section is over. Now, if you see in the top, we have a timer going off that is going to limit how long we can do this for. You can't just farm indefinitely. So what we're going to do is we're going to rush the last minute of our timer and go and blow up the two bases very quickly. Then we kill off the rest of the enemies, and we should just barely get a gold star. You're never going to get like a landslide on this unless you get a really nice killing error from beginning to end. So I also, of course, love reading the narratives for each of the missions. I've given you guys a long intro for this video just because, you know, most of the videos are in the 20-minute range. This one's in the 25-minute range. And just letting you know, they are really difficult missions, very long, lengthy missions, and the gold star requirements are very tough. So, with all that said, we are on mission F1. This is called Battle at the Arid Sea. So, with the Covenant defeated, the UNSC exodus from Dratheus 5 seemed complete. The first sign that something else was happening came in reports of a low-frequency static. UNSC analysts quickly identified the noise as a looping string of Forerunner code. Something was still active on Dratheus 5's moon, and it seemed to be calling out for attention. Spartan Sarah Palmer returned to the surface of X50, Dratheus 5's moon, to discover the UNSC was not the only one answering the bizarre Forerunner call. The Covenant had returned as well. They believed one of their gods were speaking to them, and they were adamant that the humans would not intercept the message. So this is the crazy part, getting to skip through the narrative real fast just to talk about the gameplay. It is very difficult getting across that brute bridge, going from one of the anti-air guns to the next. Make sure you have grenades piled up. It only takes 2 grenades to blow up the doors, and use your regen as you're about to run in. That'll limit the rate of death, I guess, because it's very easy for you to die when you're doing this little blitz at the end of the mission. But I found that it's the most efficient way to get the gold star, which I believe is 120,000. So you see now, even after doing that, we're still cutting it very close. We're trying to clean up the rest of the enemies in the mission, and this Wraith is going to be worth a ton of points, so don't miss a grenade like that. I do not like the controls sometimes when I clearly want to throw a grenade at this gigantic Wraith and it throws it all the way to the left. Not very smart controls in my opinion. But you can now play on the Xbox 360 controller. So even though I'm playing on tablet and I plugged in the controller, it did not work for me. Maybe there is a workaround, maybe I missed a download or something. But I imagine for PC it's you simply just plug in and play. So we have one little brute who's actually been standing here this whole time in the corner, and all we have to do is kill him to end the mission. And you see that we crossed the 120,000 mark to get us that gold star. Most of these missions have a 120,000 mark. Don't ask me why, that's just how the cookie crumbles. So boom, there it is, mission F1, tons of enemies. You have to fight an entire army literally by yourself, blow up 2 anti-air guns, and then mop up the rest. And hopefully that will get you over 120,000 and get you that gold star. Now we're moving on to mission F-2, which is Breach of the Bulwark. So let me read that narrative real fast. Once Spartan Palmer secured the landing zone, a constant stream of UNSC forces was redeployed to X-50's surface. The Forerunner signal continued to loop. The scientists were having a hard time pinning down its exact origin point. Meanwhile, Covenant forces recaptured a series of turrets along a large gorge called the Arid Sea. UNSC would require significant firepower to break through. Spartan Palmer took command of a battalion of Scorpions and Grizzlies in an effort to eradicate the Covenant turrets. As she fought, UNSC scientists began to crack the Forerunner code. They were beginning to suspect it was not an ancient voice at all. It was something quite recent, and it was calling for help. So, in this mission, we get to play with a Grizzly, right? We know that there's this Forerunner loop of code coming through. We don't know quite what it is. We haven't deciphered it. And so instead, we're just going to blow everything up in the meantime. So we have this Grizzly, and there's one trick on this mission that literally made me think that the Gold Star was not impossible. And that is, do not spend your time fighting isolated battles at each of these huge super guns, okay? The way to get the Gold Star on this is to chain together all of the little groups and islands of enemies into Killionaires. So I definitely could have done it a lot better here, and I actually had a run that I had a literal perfect Killionaire spree. And I had my Camtasia recording equipment, and I looked at the video, and it actually cut off half of the video. Not like lengthwise, but in terms of the resolution, it made it a square. And I think that's because when I was loading it up, I had to rotate the tablet, and that rotation somehow caused the program to think that I wanted a square video to be made. So that was extremely unfortunate. You guys didn't get to see an insane run through with the Grizzly, but this guide that you're watching right now will obviously suffice. It shows you basically the bare minimum of what you can do, and you want to essentially rotate between these first two super turrets, blow those up so you don't have to waste your time coming back around. Remember, you do get points for a time bonus. And then now we have 3 Jackals that sometimes you can chain into your kills earlier, sometimes you can't. And then once we blow this guy up, there's one more mega turret that we have to destroy. And those things hurt, by the way. You don't want to, another reason that you don't want to fight isolated battles is it's very easy for the super turrets to fight you and kill you while you're taking out the enemies. So this even makes you a stronger Grizzly. You want to focus on the fuel rod gun on the left. That guy rips you apart. And then this turret over here also hurts. So blow those up quickly. Usually you can chain this together. I did a terrible job, blasted myself to bits on that rock, and now we have several easy kills with those suicide grunts, then an easy wraith kill, and then we have below us to the south an elite as well as some grunts. So I could have chained that grunt, but because I was so weak, I wanted to take out these fuel rod turrets as soon as possible. This is a huge choke point. I get hit by everything that they throw at me. And look at my health here, but I was like, you know what? Balls to the wall. We're going to do this. We're going to go through, finish this in record time, and I'm not going to slow down for anything. You could go back. You could grab a Scorpion tank if you are really weak from the beginning. But I said, no way. I'm going to finish this here. I'm going to get in my Grizzly, go man mode, and look at, like, literally no health. And I don't know how this elite doesn't blow this up. Look at it. It's just ready to fall apart. And I guess because I absorbed that focus rifle shot, the tank survived. Now we need to get 120,000. I screw up the chain here right at the very end, but it's okay because these Jackals are worth 1,000 points a pop. Do the math, we're at 120k, and that's just enough for the Gold Star. We also have a small time bonus that will attribute to getting that, so remember to do the missions quickly if you can. And you see my high score, what was that, 180,000? Just you know, very large number that you can get if you chain everything together. So now we're moving on to mission F-3, the Superstructure Assault. The disintegration of Dratheus 5 caused large chunks of the planet's crust to crash into X-50's surface. The impact of these collisions revealed sections of a Forerunner structure that were previously hidden under the moon's ice. The size of the structure was staggering, stretching for miles in all directions. Once exposed, there was no doubt that this structure was the source of the transmission that the UNSC and Covenant were chasing. With the main line of the Covenant defenses breached, Spartan Palmer moved to locate the source of the Forerunner transmission. the terrain of X-50 was too challenging for the battalion to pass, so Palmer continued on foot towards the Foreigner signal. Now, in terms of the gameplay, it's extremely important that you chain all those kills together, and if you mess up, you might want to consider restarting, because this mission is actually very difficult to chain the main wave of kills together and to get enough points for the gold star. Luckily, we're gonna actually destroy this mission, and you'll just see how there's a little bit of luck involved with continuing my killing errors, having my AI target the right guys at the right time. So sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. You'll see that luck definitely works with us on this mission. So what I like to do is start up a spawn kill on the grunts coming out here. Make sure that by the time you're killing one grunt, there's another grunt ready to come through, or you'll screw up your chain and lose huge points because of that. Now we have the elite coming in on the left, as well as a bunch of jackals. So you want to start focusing them a little bit, using your grenades on them, but continuing to farm off of the grunts on the right, because the grunts are the reliable kills to continue the killing air. Then once they're all dead, you can move over to the left. And I use right there, that's a little power drain like thing, I forget the name of it, stun blast I believe. That's actually incredibly helpful when you need to lock up some enemies. I didn't use it too much because I tend to just focus on shooting and a little less on my armor abilities in this game, but perhaps you'll find it easier to press that little armor ability button and just lock up some enemies, especially these drones that are just running around like crazy. I think that would actually, in hindsight, have helped me secure these kills a little bit quicker. Now you are going to run low on ammo here, so you want to be careful. You want to not be caught with no ammo and lose out on your chain just because of essentially not keeping an eye on your ammo counter. Now here we have a crate for plasma repeater on the right and a crate for needlers on the left of the top of this bridge. I like to have needlers for this section because I can long range these brutes and take them out incredibly quickly. If you are sitting on those little trap mines that they throw at you, it's very easy to die, so be wary of that. Other than that, it's essentially keeping up the spree as much as you can. We see right here that my score is well above 120,000 right now, so we're looking pretty. And all it really is here is just cleaning up, mopping up the end, just to show you guys what that would look like. And on the bridge, we're going to have one last little boss fight against a Wraith, 2 Suicide Grunts, and an Elite with the focus rifle. So we're going to want to get some ammo for that. Don't go in cold. And then here it is. All you have to do is get across this light bridge, and that will end the mission. Make sure you don't run into the Wraith. Sometimes he likes to boost at you also. I thought right there that maybe the stun blast would stun him, but it actually doesn't. He continues to move around at his own free will, but he just kind of sits there, eats all the grenades. That's why it's good to save some plasmas for the end. And then mission accomplished. We got that gold star. No sweat. You guys, hopefully with this guide, should be able to as well. Definitely spent a lot of time on these. I expected to get this video out a lot sooner, and after playing these missions I was like, wow, these are actually incredibly challenging, very long missions, and you know, just life in general gets in the way sometimes of video making. So I'm actually doing professional tutoring now in LA, which is a lot of fun because I always loved Algebra 2 and Pre-Calc, and I get to go back and review those and help some students learn those as well, and just share my passion for math, since I almost was a math major and then I went into science. Alright, we are now on mission F-4, which is the cave with a ton of stealth elites. So let me read what this mission is all about. Infiltration of the cistern. After defeating the Covenant forces at the Light Bridge, Spartan Palmer entered a cave UNSC command designated the Cistern. Although a large number of stealth Sangheili forces were already in the area, Palmer moved forward, dispatching the enemy with skill. Deep within the cistern, she found the structure's entrance, large blast doors of Forerunner design, and from behind the doors, the origin of the signal. It was then that the UNSC scientists decoded the first part of the Forerunner transmission. It was a single word: Palmer. They warned the Spartan that the structure seemed to know her name. Bum bum bum. So the structure, this Forerunner signal that's been going out, is calling out Palmer. Palmer, Palmer, Palmer. And you can hear it while you're playing this mission, actually, that very frequently it'll just say this freaky Palmer in a freaky voice. Now right here, it's pretty much all elites on the first part of this mission. We're going to focus on moving here to the left first. I think that this is the easiest section to start off the game with before moving over to the right and I'll explain why that is in the next section. But essentially it has to do with your ammo. So in the beginning, if you notice, I let a couple of my teammates die to the Sangheli, and I tried to get the stealth elites to wrap around them and kill them. What that's going to do is that's going to give me more assault rifle ammo, and I just did it right there again. You notice I sat there, I let the stealth elite get 2 hits on one of my teammates because they are infinite. They will come back. You don't have to worry about them. I have a focus rifle crate up here in the top left, and this is the primary reason that we want to do this section first, is to get the focus rifle ammo as well as secure a little bit more assault rifle ammo, which is crucial to maintain our killing air on the drone section that we're going to be approaching. Keep your eye out on these little stealth elites. If you have high definition resolution on your computer or your tablet or your mobile device, you should be able to see the stealth elites relatively easily. Now as we're moving up here, we have drones start to come out, and these guys will frequently pop up from the depths and give you some easy points. Unfortunately, your teammates, as they have during this entire campaign, will steal some of your kills and steal some of your sprees, and that could make the difference between a gold star or not. So what I've noticed is that if you get at least 1 hit into one of the enemies and you are by them when your teammates kill them, you will actually get the points for it. Versus if you're shooting someone across the screen and then one of your teammates grenades them and kills them, you will not get the points for that. And so I don't know how to describe the radius really. It's about the distance from here to that turret shooting, I would say. This like auto sentry thing that's guarding these generator ball things. And so this is where you really need the ammo. Notice how low I'm getting on the assault rifle. And this is why we needed that ammo from our teammates, because as soon as that's gone, you have to set up with the focus rifle. We also got some extra points on this section for running riot, which is, I believe, killing 15 enemies without getting shot. It's very small points, honestly, only like 500, but each little bit makes a difference. You also can alternate between rifles and non-rifles to rack up rifle sprees. But again, I think it's more important to focus on getting the Killionaire, which gives you ultimately thousands of points per kill, than to worry too much about alternating between your weapons. So this section, we leave it last. It's also the most difficult in my opinion to chain the kills together because we're running low on ammo for our powerful weapons. You saw right there, I have no more assault rifle. I have no more focus rifle ammo. So now I'm focused. Now I have to focus on using the Needler and the Plasma Repeater, which are good weapons, but they take a lot longer to kill enemies. Before we get to the end of this mission, I also want to say 2 things. One, the Plasma Repeater is not very effective against jackals. You'll notice it takes a very long time to kill them, so you want to use the Needler on jackals whenever possible. And the second thing is that I'm doing this mission in a very speedy way, such that I want to get a time bonus that will help me get the gold star. If this method doesn't work for you, or if you like to take things slow, there is a way that you can rack up infinite points on this mission, but it will take an extra maybe 4 to 5 minutes of time. What you have to do is when you first spawn, remember when I was fighting maybe 5 of those stealth elites at the beginning of the cistern, they will keep sending more and more stealth elites as long as you do not exit that initial area. Like stay by the engineer who's on the computer by the bridge, and you will have an infinite string of stealth elites pouring in on you. So what that means is if each stealth elite is worth 1,000 or 1,500, then you can get maybe 20, 30,000 points off that, then do the rest of the mission. You don't have to worry about the time bonus, which will be 0 at that point, because you racked up so many extra points on those stealth elites. And then 150,000 is required here for the gold star. So as you can see, we barely got it with this method. For 5.5 minutes, which is very long, we still get an almost 10,000 time bonus. So that mission, very difficult. Also, there's an achievement to do that with some very tough skulls on. For that, you definitely want to use your active camo to move around, just skip the stealth elite portions, and then try and blow up those energy ball things as much as you possibly can. Alright, so we are on the final mission, F-5, the source, and this is where I'm going to talk about a lot of the lore and what's been going on here. So this narrative reads, Engineering equipment became increasingly unreliable while moving further into the cistern. The Forerunner signal interfered with anything capable of picking it up. Engineering worked frantically to keep their equipment in running order, yet Spartan Palmer's Mjolnir armor was able to withstand the interference. Palmer was able to follow the signal deeper into the caves, eventually to its very source. As she got closer, the Forerunner code rippled across her sensors, translating before her very eyes. "Palmer," it said, "help me." That was when the mission changed then from exploration to extraction. So, what have we learned? We are extracting Spartan Davis. So he randomly died, saving a bunch of troops and getting the mission completed in Operations A through E. And now in Operation F, or Operation Hydra as it's also called, we learned that there is a composer-like machine here that is trying to build Davis back, or do something with his body that it normally does with galactic material. And so after we beat this mission, you will see that there's another trailer, and I'll let you guys watch that and then discuss it very, very briefly in the end slate, or the outro. So this mission is very, very simple, and in my opinion, the easiest to get a gold star on out of the F missions. The reason for that is that the objectives are very simple. You just go and brute shot and grenade these 3 energy ball thingies. I wish I remembered what they were called. One of you guys will probably be like, "Eli, obviously they're called this," and it probably is very obvious once you remember what it's called. I apologize that I don't remember the official name for the energy ball thingies, so that's what I will continue to refer to them as until I read the comments from you brilliant people. So here you see that getting the Killionaires together is the most important part. We're essentially moving back and forth between the 2 grunts spawn points on the bottom left and the bottom right, and then we're using the infinite focus rifle in that crate there to easily eliminate the elites, the jackals, and a lot of the grunts that are going to come at us. There are some spawn points on the top left and the top right, but we don't focus too heavily on those because those are for later in the mission, and not a lot of enemies are going to come out of those. The real importance is when the brutes start coming out and the elites with focus rifles. That's when we'll sort of shift a little, and suicide grunts. That's when we'll shift a little bit more of our attention to the north. So we have killed the energy ball thingamajaggers. Now we have enemies starting to pour out in all directions. I'm sort of caught here between this auto sentry's laser beam and a lot of these grunts. So just playing very deftly around that, trying not to get hit, let my shields recharge, and then when I'm low on ammo, we will return to the focus rifle crate. You can also have that brute shot in your pocket to get insta kills if you're at like the last 0.5 seconds or the last second of your multi-kill, and you need that insta kill when you get around the corner. But the focus rifle also kills things very, very quickly, so just keep on using that. Alternate between the left and right, and try to do it quickly with your sprint armor ability, because time runs out fast, and then as soon as that timer is out, you have a very short period of time to get to the middle for Spartan Davis and extract him and end Operation F. End the DLC downloadable content for Spartan Assault that we have been enjoying. I want to say that I really did enjoy these missions, and I think after creating the game, they learned a ton, and F1 through F5 were super intense. I really enjoyed them. They were difficult to complete, difficult to get gold stars on. The story was really good all throughout. A lot of the fights were really epic, really unique, and I overall just really enjoyed the DLC myself, and I hope you guys did too. Or if you haven't played the game, I hope you're enjoying just watching them, because I enjoy talking about it. Alright, so here we are riding out in style. Mission accomplished. We were shooting for 120,000, just like in 3 of the other 4 missions, and we nailed it. We got that. We didn't even need to kill the Brute Chieftain at the end, but I wanted to show you guys that he's worth almost 4,000 points. And see, I got 150,000 on another run, so that shows that you can definitely chain those Killionaires together easier. Here's a cutscene.
The transmission was Davis's call for help, just before he died. That planet was made to build things out of galactic material, and it tried to build something out of what was left of Davis. I shut it down. Spartan Davis was my friend, and a damn good soldier. He deserves better than to be wiped out of our training records.
Boom, so Spartan Palmer shuts down the machine, Spartan Davis trying to be somewhat reincarnated or used for galactic material purposes, and that gets shut down. So she says he deserves better to get shut out of our training records, which means that's why they included this DLC in the computer program for the students to learn. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Check out these other videos if you're interested. This is Nak3d Eli. Subscribe for more, and thanks so much for watching.